All right, man. Here we are. We are back. First time we've done a podcast in God, how long, Joey, you think it's been?
I don't know. It's probably only my second appearance on a podcast, but I'd say since COVID, since
the
pandemic.
Like, so during COVID, we used to do a lot of podcasts, and
no video though.
We did do a little bit of video.
Oh, did you?
If you check out the YouTube page, you'll see some video where we did Zoom stuff.
That's right.
So we bring people in on Zoom.
Before we had an editor.
Yeah, now we got Noor, the man. He's taking care of all of our stuff for us. So this podcast should basically be like a level up. So we're pretty pumped about it.
Oh, we got nice little mics here.
I know. We're leveling up here at Sudbury MMA.
And we're doing the whole thing in the ring. So
yeah. Well, it's funny because we were talking about names and we're like, what kind of name can we look at to kind of like rebrand the podcast? And we got like In the Ring with SMA or with JC.
Over the ropes.
Yeah, over the ropes. Yeah,
yeah.
So or through the ropes.
Yeah, through the ropes. Yeah. Okay.
Step through the ropes and come and
over
chat
the ropes
with
if it was Muay Thai. But.
Yeah. So I mean the. One of the things that we thought would be cool to relaunch the podcast is to basically talk about our previous nationals that just happened about a week ago or so.
Yeah, and then I think that's a good idea, especially we've been competing like crazy lately. So it's like if you want to get that podcast started, our guys are competing left and right. So even sometimes get our athletes that were just on there, get them on the podcast.
For sure. We want to kind of branch out and bring different people on and check things out. But
not just me, because I'm boring.
No, but one of the things that I wanted to kind of discuss was, number one, 2024 WAKO National Championships. It was probably, for us, one of our best years.
Well, 7 belts would tell you that.
Yeah, seven national belts coming home to the gym. So, but I mean, you were around from literally the beginning.
Yeah.
And you probably remember some of our first national championships. I can't remember if it was 2009 or 2010.
I'd say 2010 from what I remember. 2009, I was just beginning. I think it was because we didn't get into cask yet. It was cask at the time. And I think what we struggled with most was just honestly finding people that were committed to doing that stuff, because it does cost money, right? But at the same time,
it's expensive, it's time consuming, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. And I remember the first years that we jumped in it, it's kind of like we, back in 2009 or 2010, we were kind of branching out of those sport, martial arts style of tournaments and moving into the pure kickboxing. But I mean, so at our first national championship, probably 2000, I think it was 2010. It was kind of a rude awakening, because this was stepping into a forum where athletes were tough.
You say, how many leg kicks did we check?
Oh yeah, there was none. There was just most of our people had a hard time making it out of the first round, because it was just the level and the competition was so high at the time.
No, we didn't train like that either. Us, it was just okay, you're mentally tough, let's go in there and fight. And you realize real quick, you're okay, these leg kicks hurt, or I can't clinch. One or the other, oh man. Yeah, that was definitely a rude awakening for sure.
Yeah. So, but I mean, fast forward, almost 15 years later type thing. And, I believe it was probably one of our most successful nationals. We had, how many athletes go down?
I was gonna say, I think we had about 10, right? So we had, I'll count on my hand right now, from the youngest. We had Sophia.
Yeah.
She was the youngest athlete. Then we had Owen, Mauricio. Elizabeth, actually that's true too. I forgot about Lizzie. And we had Emily, Dom, Addie, Malcolm, Ethan. So I'd say about 9. Sounds about 9.
9 or 10 people go
and
down.
Men. Don't forget about men.
So so we had
10 people.
About 10 people go down and came home with 7 belts.
Whereas last year it was just me and Addie, right? So
yeah. So the team has grown in experience to be able to compete at that level.
Yeah.
And then not only that, have some good success at that level too.
Well, and that's just it from when we used to do a lot of Muay Thai back in the heyday. It's very strict on Muay Thai, but now when WAKO came around, we got even myself, when I started doing WAKO kickboxing, I'm still in my Muay Thai stance, and I'm doing all, it took so much adjusting to get used to, right? So
yeah.
In order to, and again, rude awakening, you start competing, and I'm you're losing these split decisions, these close decisions, or majority decisions, and you got to learn the game a little bit, because now it's I could see how our training became in the gym. Everyone's kind of on board with it. You can see where we're working a lot of pressure, working a lot of cardio, and just activity.
I think the fact that our coaches, a lot of them have taken the coaching courses, they've taken the officials courses, so they understand, the scoring system, they understand what the judges are looking for. We've altered our training in order to reflect more success when it comes to the scoring. These are all things that 10, 15 years ago we were not doing. So I mean, I think all those little pieces of the pie have contributed to success, and then add that with the determination, the skill set of the athletes, the dedication of the athletes, and then bam, we almost have the perfect recipe for what happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially with the young, like up and comers. A lot of times, those are the hardest ones to kind of break through, right? Yeah. Find like younger kid, he just wants to get in there and fight, and you tell him he's doing something wrong or whatever he's doing wrong, and just
they don't listen.
And this
I just want to get a knockout. And I'm like, you're not going to knock people out.
No, you're not. How many times I've tried? Holy.
Yeah, for people to understand that we got to kind of work the point system and develop that game and develop the footwork in order to be successful, in the point system. Like, these guys don't understand that.
And it's also amateur.
Like, I'm just going to go in there and fight and knock people out. I'm like, that's just not the way it works. Especially when the person is just as tough as you and maybe more skilled than you as well.
Yeah, it's not Joe Schmo hanging out on Elgin there. So, No, and that's the thing. Like, I find, when we kind of revamped that training a little bit, don't get me wrong, we always train hard, and ever since, I don't know, you kind of embedded that into our head, is just train hard and
be consistent.
Be consistent, right? Number one, be consistent. Show up. The thing is, like, we won't take you seriously if you show up one time, like once a week. Like, it's hard to take someone.
Not if you want to be competitive.
No, and it's it's unfortunate because there's a lot of people that they say they want to compete, but when it comes down time to it, it's not. There's so much that has to go around competing, and it's not just getting in the ring and fighting in front of a crowd. It's the training camp leading up to it, cutting the weight, making sure your nutrition's in check. Like, there's so much that has to go with it, and sometimes that's the awakening people take. Well, they need, right?
100%. So getting back to our athletes, like, they had a great awakening on that weekend. So
oh my God.
Who was our first one up? The first person to compete was
Emily was the first one to compete. She fought, and again,
This is where Noor's going to help us out. He's going to kind of get some of these pictures.
Yeah, we're going to get some pictures there. You're going to be able to see these winning photos. But number one was Emily. And again, I'm going to have a hard time remembering the gyms that they fought. I just know Emily's first fight was against a girl.
That picture?
It was against a girl from Ottawa Fighting Fitness.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a good fight. The girl was she's very aggressive. It was very aggressive. And man, I was sitting there in the corner watching, and I'm just like, ooh, I've never seen Emily move so well. Because from, again, going back to a Thai stance or coming back to that Thai style, it was hard to get that out of her. Once we got that out of her, right?
She hated it. During the training, she hated it. No, she's on the mats over there somewhere, still training a little bit. Maybe she hears us, but she hated working that footwork piece. And she hated when we would just nonstop be like, nope, move before the next combo. Move directly right after your combo.
And I think what helped her as well is obviously, like, she's been very active in the past 2 years. So she's been staying very active, and in her case, you learn from every fight, right? If you don't learn from your fights, well then, again, you got to take something more serious into training. But she's also, like, in her fights, you would see it. Yeah, she wants to fight. Don't get me wrong. Emily wants to fight.
She likes her overhand right.
She likes that overhand right. That side kick. She likes going for the kill, right? That's good.
Kick, that damn side kick.
Yeah, damn side kick. But hey, it landed.
She did land.
It landed.
I know.
Right, Emily?
Side kick landed.
Your side kick landed in that fight? Yes. No, how many times we said that? But again, the footwork just came into play. I never seen Emily move so well before, right? So when she was moving like that, I'm like, whoa. Especially with, like, mixing it up with the combinations in the hands.
Yeah, it clicked. That was good. It was a great fight, that first fight.
Yeah.
So she won that fight and then moved into right away. That fight moved into the finals.
The finals right away, yeah.
Because there was.
That's it. I don't know if there was any buys in that. It was hard to keep track of, especially like
so many fights.
Every day we're looking at the WAKO website trying to see the bracket, and it was very hard to keep track of.
And I think people don't understand too. Like, these, I always tell people, because you get a lot of competitors that they're very happy to do. The shows, do the one event, one weigh-in, the one weight cut, the one fight, and then celebrate whatever.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, but like going to the nationals is another beast, because I mean, like, first of all, you have to weigh in every day that you're competing. So like, if you're cutting weight, which most people are cutting weight to get that little bit of an advantage when they're competing, they want to fight in a little bit. I'm not saying the lighter weight class, but like, if you can stand to lose 4 or 5 pounds, like, you're losing that weight before the fight, right?
Absolutely.
So they're kind of working hard to lose that weight for the fight. They weigh in Friday, and then guess what? They keep on going. They got to weigh in Saturday morning too. So, you lost the weight, you go, you have that celebratory breakfast, You have the competition.
Keep it light.
Yeah, you can't eat too much.
Stay away from Denny's.
Yeah, Denny's is not the greasy spoon that you don't want to go do. But then after you are successful, if you're successful throughout the day, you got to weigh in again Saturday morning. So like these guys, it's like, you want to talk about a tournament that creates mentally tough athletes. Like you weigh in Friday morning, you fight Friday evening, you're cutting weight Friday night to make sure you're still on weight Saturday morning when you weigh in.
Exactly. Like last year, I had, oh my God, I was such a relief when I realized like, I had a bye. I had one bye. Mind you, I still had to fight twice, but the thing, I had a bye and I'm like, oh, okay, good. I don't need to cut weight today.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, all right, cool. But you still got to keep your weight down, right?
So, and that's what makes nationals so challenging. So I mean, like you got people that are potentially weighing in Friday, fighting, weighing in Saturday, fighting, weighing in Sunday, fighting again on Sunday. So like, it's a mentally tough, challenging weekend.
Well, to backtrack a little bit too, right? So I guess you can, like when we got to Niagara Falls Thursday, you had the opportunity to go check in the athletes and the coaches and whatnot. But I mean, I don't know if you showed up late. I showed up pretty late that night. We just skipped that kind of stuff. We decided to check in the next morning. Meanwhile, now, was it from, what was the weigh-in time? 9 till 11?
9 to 11, yeah.
Yeah, so again, early in the morning, right?
Cutting weight.
Cutting weight early in the morning. So it's not like...
Actually, didn't she, was it Friday or Saturday? Was it Saturday or Sunday that she had to do a little bit of running?
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday.
So she had to cut weight.
That was for her second
She gets
fight.
there, you know, it throws you off your game because you're like, oh, you're 0.6 pounds over. And you're like, oh my God, I gotta run.
0.6 is a lot when you're already cutting weight. Like people think
it
it's like,
sucks.
I can just spit that out.
Yeah, you're hot. You think I'm just gonna get this over with. I'm gonna be able to finally drink some Gatorade. And then,
No, you're overweight.
guess what? You're gonna be running for the next hour before you go. So yeah, so she did that. Had her first fight. It was great. Won the fight, and you know, I think that was it unanimous or is it?
That one there was actually I believe that was a unanimous. Yes.
Yeah, I think all the fights. Were
I think this was the second. No, we'll get to that after.
Yeah, but no, great fight, and moved on to the next day.
And that was great because that was definitely a busy afternoon with all our athletes. Because in our second fight we had Malcolm.
Malcolm, that was
like literally not long after.
For anyone who's trained with Malcolm, that man's a beast.
He's been my number one training partner. I've been his number one training partner, and I can tell you, like I can only get swept by that guy so much now. It's just like
that guy's an absolute animal, and he trained hard for this.
Because he's long. Guy's a tall guy. He's just a monster, guys. He's just a freaking monster, right? Like you've seen him.
Yeah. Oh.
So like,
I've seen it. I felt it.
He's keeping you away with that jab, and then bong, bong, boom. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
And I mean, like it's
clicking.
It's something that us as a gym we're kind of stepping away from is the amount of sparring because there's just a lot of studies that show it's not necessarily as beneficial as people think it is. But nonetheless, like the results were there, and this was another example where the footwork, the pad drills, the combinations, it just came together, and he had a heck of a fight on Saturday.
That guy
he fought like, I forget what school he was from too. Like that's the only thing we should have probably gotten lists of kept lists of everywhere people fought, because the nationals there was people from
Northwest Territories.
Yeah, there was like Northwest Territories. There was Newfoundland. There was
shout out to John Stanley.
Yeah, man. He's the real deal when it comes to boxing coaches.
Biggest thing I could say from that is when Malcolm kneed him in the face 3 times, like in a row, boom, boom, boom.
Oh yeah.
The guy just stood there and took it. And I'm like,
it was
all
crazy.
right. Like Malcolm, you got to grab the battle axe and hit this guy, man. Like, there's nothing else that's gonna put this guy down.
It was still great. Like won the match, got a unanimous decision, and you know what, moved on to the next day.
Yeah, and that's just it. Moved on to the next day. He would have had a big division as well. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But
so who else fought that day? I know we had.
Same day we had.
Did we have Sophia fight that day?
Yeah, right after, because in this order here was it? Oh no, was it Lizzie? No, Sophia. You're right.
Sophia. So Sophia is one of our younger athletes. I can't remember how old she is. She's like 9-ish.
That's anybody under 10 years old that's fighting. It's just a work in progress. Like I say wait 10 years. Like I wish I would have started that when.
And this is the thing. Like so, the thing about these young athletes, like number one, they're not doing full contact. They're doing what they call light kick.
Yeah, rightfully so.
So I mean it's basically like a 30 to 50% power, for lack of a better term, division, where the kids can be exposed to the sport and learn to be able to compete in the sport in a safe manner. and be able to work that footwork and whatnot. And unfortunately, in her case, she fought a very tough girl, and she got kind of caught up in not having that footwork that we were hoping to work with her.
No.
And she kind of got disqualified for kind of going out of bounds and everything. But this young lady, like, she does jiu-jitsu, she does kickboxing. Super bright future for her.
Well, her parents are involved too, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, her parents are super supportive. Her mom does it too. Her whole family is involved in the sport. So I mean, like, it's just a matter of time before it clicks. Like, she's had quite a bit of success in jiu-jitsu.
This weekend?
The weekend before.
Yeah, the weekend that just passed. Yeah.
And then when it comes to the kickboxing, she's had a few other events that she's participated in and been super successful. So we decided to bump her up to the national level to give it a shot. And she, unfortunately,
on the big stage.
On the big stage, the first match didn't go her way. But like I tell people, like, this sport is also not just only about punching and kicking, but there's a component of learning to deal with adversity and sometimes failures. And developing from that and learning from that and coming back stronger is 100% what I think is going to happen with
at that age too. It's always just, like the old saying goes, it's win or learn. That's basically all it is. Especially at that age, like it takes so much. It takes so much. How do I explain it? It just takes so much out of you to just even go perform on the big stage, right? So it's one thing to do with it's experience. We had the Sudbury Smash, competed in that, right? So it's like
that's coming up too, by the way.
Yeah. Stick around.
June 9th. Sudbury Smash coming up.
June 9th. So it's to have you start them young, build them up. It's not like you want to throw them into the fire right away.
It's no different than like any other sport. Like I always say, like you look at hockey, you have kids starting like 4 or 5 years old. They're not playing games at that age. They're learning how to skate. They're learning how to stick handle the puck.
A lot to go with it. Same thing. That's why it's so good to bring that light contact stuff into it, because there's no reason for a kid to be taking damage at that age.
Absolutely
the brain's still developing. My God.
That's awesome. So who's our next fighter after that? Was
next one? I believe it was. Give me a second. No, actually, it was Ethan. That was later on in the afternoon.
Yeah, Ethan.
Oh my God, what do we got to say about Ethan? There's so much to say about Ethan. First of all, I love the guy to death.
Yeah, Ethan. So Ethan, interesting story about Ethan. He was one of these young guys who started here, and I still remember. He was probably like 14 or 15 or whatever he was, and he's like, I want to fight. I'm like, you're not fighting.
First day.
I'm like, you don't know anything. You are not fighting.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, then he quit. He's just so mad because he wanted to compete. He ended up quitting.
Yeah.
Was it after COVID? It was after COVID. He ended up coming back. I guess he super successful hockey player. Played at the junior level of hockey.
The kid's an athlete. He's got that explosiveness in him.
He's a bit of a monster. But
he came back with his brother. So him and his brother came back together. And I remember that first day back, needed a training partner. So I was going to work with Kyle Marcus that day. And sure enough, he said he needed a partner. I'm like, all right, you know what? By all means, have fun.
Oh, yeah. And he's like in 100%, right?
Right. First round, first punch, he's just trying to kill the pads. And I'm like, all right, let's see this for 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. It's like, and it's funny because like that describes his fighting style too.
Yeah, right.
That's the only thing. Like when that guy steps in the ring,
I'm telling you, it's just like
he is in his opponent's face.
He wants to fight. Don't get me wrong. He wants to win too. He'll get those points, but he wants to fight. So
yeah, it's kind of like the nastier the fight gets, the more he's loving it. And like we've been all over the province with this kid, and it's just like. I'm like, man, and it's hilarious because I'm like, how you feeling? He's like, I'm excited, I'm good. 99% of the time, people are like, oh, I'm nervous, this.
We're on deck. He's making jokes. I'm like,
that's what I
want to see.
He's all about it. So, we just announced him at the upcoming Northern Fights on June 8th, as well as the main event.
Him and Dean Soon, right?
Soon, yeah. Like that's gonna be.
That's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah, Dean Soon is no stranger to the North and no stranger to Northern Fights.
Love having him around. So
he's a gamer. And but I mean that's a whole other topic. But him and Dean Soon, main event for a Northern Fight, so that one should be pretty exciting.
Well, yeah, and then so at Ethan's first fight, I think was it split or was it? I think he got all unanimouses that weekend.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So
the fights were tough to like. I can't remember which gym he fought first.
With Ethan, he's a little shorter, stockier, but he's quick.
Oh yeah.
He's got quick hands, so
those
it's like
hands are nasty for him. Like,
every time you see him, like
he's got good kicks too.
He
just doesn't throw them enough.
Yeah, we yelled. I think we lost our voice doing that.
Yeah. Like I think we counted. How many kicks did he throw in the first fight?
Maybe one, if not.
Yeah,
I think he was throwing like flying knees and stuff.
Yeah. He likes those flying knees, but I'm like, Ethan, you need to throw more kicks. Like, you know how much he'd score? Like, he'd probably do way more damage too if he threw more, so like next training camp, Dean Soon, if you're watching, bro, the kicks are coming.
yeah. We're not ruining the game plan here.
Yeah. It's coming for you. It's okay.
No, it's that's just how his went. Like they're brutal fights to watch, especially when you watch Ethan fight.
Oh yeah, no, it was. But the crowd loves it. Like every time he's fighting, like doesn't matter if it's nationals, an event, whatever. People start to flock towards that ring because they know it's going to be a crazy fight.
Well, and that's just and afterwards too. Everyone's just around him. It's almost like you might as well just bring a pen and paper and start signing autographs at this point. Like, kid, you already made it there. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's fun. He's definitely fun to watch.
Next one was Addie and her kick light fight.
Oh, okay.
So the next one, yeah. And you know what? Like
she fought one of the people from Guelph, I think, on the first one.
No, that was the second one. That was the finals. Yeah, the first one was, and you know what? Sometimes it's an unfortunate thing to see, but it's when people they have their first match, and what it seemed to be her first match at a national event.
I think she was from Hookup, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
And you know what? Like the girl, she made weight. She showed up and she put up a fight.
We've been there.
Exactly.
We've been there, when we bring our new, and we're still there. We bring our newer athletes, that's what happens. And that's sometimes where I think some schools drop the ball a bit. They're a little nervous to put some of their newer athletes in competition. They think that they have to be
good, like really good.
Yeah, they think I'm not going to let them compete until they're like really good or until they're 5 years. And I'm like, they're doing them a disservice. I truly believe that because you know what? Yeah, there's some learning curves and some painful learning curves as you move through the grid. But like, you got to remember the way the amateur sport is designed nowadays. Like, you're generally not competing against people with a significant amount more of experience.
No.
Right?
No.
In this case here, and Addie, to her credit, like she is very good, but she doesn't have that many fights. She doesn't have as many fights as what people may think. Like she's only had like about 6 or 7 fights, type thing on that.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to the kick light, that could be a big difference between someone on their first or second fight.
And that's just how that kind of
in this first match, that may have been what it was. And Addie's also now she's a 2-time double champion right, for the nationals. So it was a good fight. She was hard on herself after that fight, which is she's always like that. But and there's little things that she picked up that she wanted to clean up before the next day. But I think it was a good icebreaker, and people from Hookup were good. The first round she actually fought pretty hard too. So it was really good.
And sometimes that's what happens, and you get hit back, and sometimes you kind of realize, okay, this is how it is actually getting hit for once.
Oh yeah.
But
and again, I think is that how we ended the day? Sorry.
I think so. Give me a second. I believe so.
Yeah, you think that was day 1, and we had 3 days. Like.
No, actually, I think, or was it? Yeah, because then we had Owen. I think Owen might have been, because that was the 26th. No, we had Owen.
Did he fight that day too?
Yeah. Owen's first kick light match.
Who did he fight? Who's on that picture?
I'm trying to see who. I don't remember who.
I can't remember who that is either.
But this is where we kind of figured out the new rules, right? When we were kind of, not new rules, it's just rules that we weren't accustomed to.
Yeah, because so WAKO being the Canadian PSO, obviously, and having the national championship, they're trying to, be as close as possible to international rules, which is what we want because in a perfect world, our people are going to take that plunge and kind of jump into international level competition, right? So they got to basically have that platform to compete in the same type of rule set.
Yeah.
And one of the rules about kick light is that if you go out of bounds, it's considered like a warning. You get 4 warnings, you're disqualified.
See, I had no idea about that.
Yeah, no, because we're used to training in the ring where you can't go out of bounds. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to run into the ring.
Or even the smaller events that we've hosted. Obviously, it's not a national level, but we still had kick light events happening on the tatami mats, and they wouldn't call that, right? So,
but that's because they're developmental tournaments. So like when the kids at the nationals, they're going to be strict. It's going to be like, these are the rules. You don't follow the rules, you're getting disqualified.
Yeah.
At the developmental tournaments, you get the warnings. Hey, don't do that. And then hopefully you take those warnings when you go home to your home gyms and make sure you implement them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Footwork.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, we've been doing it. We've been doing it with the footwork. So like ever since nationals, because we had a couple of our people got disqualified because of even the circling out of bounds you're not really supposed to do. So I know like that when Addie is teaching in our kids advanced class, she's basically got like a line. She goes and gets tape and she puts lines and she makes the kids circle in those lines so that they don't go out of bounds.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Definitely
So
good idea.
even our adults, when we have our adults compete, we're gonna do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say too, because obviously you're on vacation and whatnot, but since you've been gone, people have been hating me because of the footwork. I'm like, we're doing a lot of footwork now, and then some people are just like, why all of a sudden? It's like, it's not so much all of a sudden. It's just I want people to understand that before you can walk, you need to learn how to crawl, right? So it's just like when you fight, you need to learn how to move before you can actually just go in there.
Well, it's funny because people are like, I want to join kickboxing, I want to compete, and they automatically assume it with, I want to like kick people, punch people, get into these brawls. But then it's like, you have them practicing footwork where they're doing the box theory, learning how to move side to side without crossing their legs, or how to circle out without crossing their legs. Yeah. And they're like, oh, this isn't very fun. This is not what I thought I was going to be learning.
It's really not, guys. It's really not.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, like, you can just hit a bag if you want, but like, if you actually want to learn the art of the combat piece, like, then you're going to have to learn the footwork piece and move around, because nobody fights in a telephone booth.
Except Ethan.
Yeah, maybe Ethan does.
Except Ethan. No. Next fight after Owen's fight, because he won. He ended up winning, but because the other guy got disqualified for going out of bounds.
And Owen's an animal. Like, Owen's been training for a long time.
Well, I think he said he did karate when he was a kid. So
yeah, absolutely. And karate is one of those martial arts that if you want to do kickboxing, like, it's pretty cool. If you did karate for a lot of years as a kid, and learned all the forms and the traditional aspects of the forms, and you pick up that footwork no problem, because in the forms they're actually kind of developing a little bit of that movement. Yeah. And you're learning patterns, and your brain is learning how to move your body in sync with those patterns. So like, sometimes coming from that background and moving into kickboxing is actually a pretty easy transition, and a very beneficial transition, because when you start to break it down and here's the footwork, they're used to that. They're used to that from their forms training, so they can pick it up pretty easily. And I think Owen's a great example of that. Like, he's hard to hit when people are chasing after him, and then he added in the head movement, where like I can't even count how many times like he basically would slip underneath those hooks and fire in the leg kicks, right? And so like,
that's every time I see that comedy, he's always fighting bigger guys or taller guys.
I don't know how, because he's so thin.
He's so thin.
I don't understand
how did these guys make that weight class?
Yeah, like fights at like 132 or something like that. And
the one in Project Mayhem, and really? No.
Yeah, he was tall too.
No, Project Mayhem though. That was he made 127.
Yeah,
that's what he had to do.
And that guy was like, his opponent was like 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I'm like, okay.
I don't understand. I'm like, how's that guy?
But again, every time I see that left hook coming, and I'm just like, please, oh.
Yeah.
And he slips under it, he leg kick. I'm like, whoo, all right.
No, for sure. So the kid's an animal, been training a long time, works hard. He's like one of the few people that's here, I would say, almost.
Well, he just did wrestling there. Who was telling me, he's like, he was just doing double leg shots for like 20 minutes, and he didn't get tired. So
yeah, no. Well, this young guy, like, he's got aspirations of MMA and stuff like that, and like, he'll do it for sure, like, guaranteed. I mean, like, I tell people all the time, MMA is a tough sport. You think about the amount of work and dedication people put into either jiu-jitsu or kickboxing or wrestling. It takes a lot of work and dedication, and this guy, that's why he's here all the time. He's basically putting in hours on every one of those disciplines. Yeah. So, and he's doing it in what I would consider the right way. Like, he's getting experience individually in each one of those disciplines.
Absolutely.
So like, when he has his first MMA fight at some point, he'll have had 50 kickboxing matches, 50 or 100 jiu-jitsu matches, and who knows how many wrestling.
No stranger to the game.
Yeah, it's going to be like this. And then, like, if the other person didn't have that same experience coming into that first MMA fight, it's going to be a bad night for them. So.
Yeah, that's well, actually, you nailed it right there, man. Yeah. He's only 17. He's got so much to learn from, even just from this age. Like, he's so good now, but give it 10 years until he's 27. Like,
it's going to be amazing.
Next one was Mauricio on his first match.
Mauricio, so this kid broke his arm probably
over a month ago.
Yeah, about 8 weeks ago.
8 weeks ago, yeah.
Gets out of his cast.
Well, even when he was still in his cast, he was moving here, man.
Oh, 100%. He was like, so he's got his cast in one arm, and he's basically throwing left hooks nonstop on the bag.
Switching to southpaw, changing his stances.
Like, it was absolutely insane,
I respect that kid a lot.
Yeah,
he grew on me a lot.
Absolutely, completely dedicated to the martial arts and to his kickboxing and to even the nationals. Like, he was, he had his arm in a cast for like 2 weeks. He's like, so for nationals, I'm like, okay, let's get that arm out of a cast. let's get clearance from a doctor.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
we're going to
yeah.
talk about nationals. And sure enough, man, like he got that arm out. He was at the doctor's and he basically bringing in the information. Look, I'm good to go. I'm like light contact. Yeah, you're good to go. You know,
Yeah, not full contact. I mean,
jumped in right away.
and he would have done full contact.
Yeah,
He's a beast, man.
Yeah, that's why you have coaches that are not going to let you make those types of decisions. But you know, but right away, like, you know, no hesitation. And he won his first fight.
Yeah, his first match went well.
Yeah.
His first, yeah. Like he played the. You could see like he plays a very close range distance. The kid wants to fight too. Again, he wants to back to telephone booth fighting.
Yeah.
He's too comfortable being there. He's too comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I guess it depends the opponent, but it worked for him this time. And kid just got really good kicks, and it's again 17 years old. Guy, like, I think he's gotten gold at his last couple wrestling tournaments in high school. So like, kid's he's a beast.
Good jiu-jitsu too. Like, yeah. No, big things coming from him too.
Yeah. Next day, we had back again. Emily first fight. First day.
Was that the final? That was the final.
Finals, yeah. So that one there, that was a.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see that one.
Yeah.
It was pound for pound.
Yeah, because we were coaching at the same time. I had.
We're getting ready on deck. I had to run off because Amin was fighting. So.
Yeah, Amin was fighting, but so yeah, I had to fight with Emily, and pound for pound's a tough school. They've been around forever. I remember us getting our butt whipped by them.
Shout out Alex Brown.
Yeah,
fought you last year.
Yeah, those guys have been around forever. Saw them fight dating back to 2009.
Yeah.
A team from there. Ooh. You know what I mean? Like they're nasty.
And they've grown. Like they've obviously grown like crazy.
Yeah, they got a couple different locations now. But anyway, so like the first thing I'm thinking is like, oh my God, okay, so this is gonna be a tough fight for him. This girl's gonna probably be strong in the clinch and et cetera, right? So, and I know Emily likes to clinch and knee and stuff like that, but I'm telling her before we go up, I said, listen, we're gonna test it. We're gonna see where we're at. You know, worst case scenario, we're gonna play long, and if we're close to the clinch, or if you know, if it's a close match, then you can try and fire the knees. So we're about halfway through the first round, and the girl was aggressive. The girl that Emily was fighting was aggressive. I can't remember her name, but she was coming forward hard, and she was coming forward hard with boxing. So I was like, you know, let's work that clinch. So anyway, when Em grabbed the clinch, I could see right away that Emily's clinch was stronger than that girl's clinch, and I was like, that's it. Here we are, man. This is going to be our game plan for the rest of the fight. And you know, luckily we were able to implement that, and she was able to get the finish via knees type thing. So it was a great fight for her.
Was it finish or decision? I know because I heard she was telling me she dropped her twice. I know she got two 8 counts. She got 2 8 counts.
Well, you know what? It might have been.
But then it might have been unanimous.
Yeah, it might have been. It might have been. It was a unanimous decision. You know what? It was a decision because I remember them being at the end. That's right. Sorry, my apologies. But nonetheless, great fight. Emily implemented the game plan perfectly.
Well, especially like after a fight the day before, right? Sometimes like your neck doesn't recover properly, or you're just, you know, you take a couple leg kicks, you're sore the next day, so sometimes your movement's compromised. But from what I hear is no issue there.
Nope. And it was cool because so that was the fight and that was the final. So she won the national championship there. Yep. And then I knew she had other fights. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Get over it.
You're a national champ. Put that away for now. I think I actually said to her, go put the belt away. We have one more to go. We have one more to win. So, you know, like, and we'll deal with that after. So,
yeah. While that was all, like while that was happening, me too. Because I mean, I'm in. You know, and I love that kid, man. He loves to. From when he first started, he's got a great attitude. So humble, so respectful. Just in his case, it was the clinching. He also fought his guy was a lot taller than him. So when it came to the clinch, he just didn't really have an answer for it.
He was an animal too. Like, let's talk about his weight cutting. That guy stressed me out.
Fight week.
Yeah, how many? He was like 7 pounds over or something.
7 pounds over. Actually, I think it might have been 8 pounds over.
And it was kind of like, we're like, I'm in. You were fighting at 147. It's all good.
Yeah, no, his weight class was 139. He had
139.
He had to make 139. He was walking around 147.
Okay,
and I'm like, because he's like, oh, my weight class is 145. I'm like, you know, there's not a weight class that's 145, right? Looked it up. I'm like, I did the translation from kilograms to pounds. I'm like, yeah, you got to be 139, brother. Oh, no problem. Yeah, it's all. I'll cut it. I'll cut it.
I was so stressed. I was texting him. I'm like, what do you weigh today? Listen, what are you weighing today? Like, I'm like, don't eat today. You know, it's like, you know. And then like the morning of, I'm texting him. I'm like, what did you wake up at? You know.
Yeah.
He's like, I only have 2 pounds to lose. I'm like, it's time to come to the weigh-in. He's like, I'm good. I have until 11. I'm like, oh my God.
Showed up 10 minutes before 11.
He doesn't stress at all. Meanwhile, like we're pulling our hair out trying to figure out where he is, what he's doing, where is he running, how's his weight.
We're in Niagara Falls. We don't even know where he's staying at.
Yeah.
We don't even know the hotel he's at. And I was like, oh my God.
Shows up, strolls in, no problem. I'm like, how's your weight? It's good. He goes and weighs in.
Overweight.
No, that one he was okay.
That was the second one.
Yeah, the second day he
that's
was
right.
over.
That's
He had to
right.
go and lose. The second day he had to lose like 0.3 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so but getting back to his fight.
And you know what? Like, again, that kid comes to fight too. Like, I never can't teach that kind of mentality. He just came in to fight, and he landed some good stuff too. Like his left inside leg kick, it's getting so nasty now.
He's got a fast lead leg. Yeah,
very fast lead leg. And like, he was aggressive. He was looking for that shot. Just again, fighting a taller guy, someone that could play that range. It's harder to hit.
And this is where sometimes I think the experience plays a factor, because all these people when they're fighting their first, second fight, like they're still trying to land that bomb.
Yeah.
Like
I got this, Dan Henderson style.
Yeah, they're like who's that wrestler there from the NXT champ that does that?
Oh yeah.
Ivan, that guy that he just basically drops something like
jumping elbow.
Yeah, like I feel like some of our guys, it's their first or second fight, and that's the mentality they have. They're like, I'm gonna drop them with this. I'm like, no, you're not. Don't stop doing that. Stop trying.
I'll be like, I hope you do, but don't get me wrong, it's not very likely.
No, you can't do that, but. But he's definitely got some spunk in that left kick. And
well, just yesterday, was it No, Thursday. I just did 45 minutes of clinching with the kid. He's very eager to learn the clinch. So
he was asking me about it today because his fight on June 8th at Northern Fights.
I told him to ask you.
Yeah, he's doing K1. He's doing a K1 fight.
Okay, great.
And somebody
Perfect.
from Sault Ste. Marie. So, so
that'll be a good one then, because. Again, the kid's he's got a lot of growing to do, and he's also learning, I should say, but he's got that mentality that you can't really teach. He's got that toughness. Now it's just to bring it all together. Right?
And he's here every day, or pretty close to every day.
Pretty much every day, yeah. So I was working with.
So he lost that one, lost by decision.
Yeah, that was a majority decision. He lost that one, and it is what it is. Again, win or learn. Because
we tell people sometimes too, like people get hyper focused on the wins and losses, and probably one of the coolest things Chris said, right? Mm-hmm. What is it?
Win or learn? Or which one? Don't let the wins get to your head. Don't let the losses get to your heart. Trust me, that's something I've carried for a long time, because people would always ask me after a fight, you lost, shouldn't you be more upset? I'm like, what can I say?
Yeah. The other thing people talk about is like having the memory of a goldfish, both ways. Like if you won, and I tell people all the time, like, hey, you guys,
it's over now.
We had the 6 or 7 national champions, 7 national championship belts. I'm like, hey, cool, that was last week. Now we have new goals.
Yeah.
What are our goals now?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like nobody cares what happened last week.
In the past.
Nobody cares what happened 10 years ago. Nobody cares what happened 20 years ago.
Well, and that's just it. And especially if you're so hyper-focused on that one loss that you have on your record or whatever the case may be. It's like, do you think in 10 years you're going to remember that fight? You're already going to fought in 20 more times, 30 more, hopefully more. But
and that's why I tell these guys that are just starting out, I'm like, that first, second, third fight, that's okay. We're working towards the future. We're working, and our goals, like it's like even nationals, like don't get me wrong, I'm super proud of it, but like I have a bigger goal, and that's international competition.
Yeah. And
that's like having competitors with like 50, 60, 100 fights.
Yep.
Not just 10 fights and winning nationals. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, that's one of my goals type thing. Right?
I think our next guy, Mr. Dominator.
Tom.
Love that kid too,
man. That guy's another workhorse.
And I the more we traveled together and we shared rooms together, I got to know him a lot more.
He's hilarious too.
He's very, he was always a quiet guy, kind of an awkward guy, but then the next thing you actually get to know him.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's funny, man. He's just so funny, and he's fun to hang out with. Good spirits, craziest work mentality. He's always the last one here in the gym working something.
I know. Every day, every single day, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and we have to kick him out. And I'm like, Dom, time to go. Classes are done. He's like, okay, I'm just going to go 2 more bag rounds. I'm like, Dom, we're locking the doors.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him a key pretty soon.
I was going to say, either get him a key or get him a sleeping bag or something.
So he lost that fight decision, but you know what? It was a great fight for him.
Definitely a great fight for him. Then, right after Dom's fight, we had Owen coming back with a belt.
Yeah.
Man, that fight there was pretty wild, because I think it was the first time. I know Owen's been fixated on her. Like he really wants to get that 8 count. He wants to get
and he rocked the kid.
Twice, actually. I think it might have been twice, but Well, there's one definitely somewhere in the fight, but it was right at the end of the fight, that overhand.
Oh
bang!
yeah, like, and both of us were like, go!
Yeah,
Like, go.
press forward.
Yeah, press
oh
forward
my
on him type
God.
thing.
Yeah, you know what? And that's just like, again, being so young, you don't really have that that explosive twitch. Like, don't get me wrong, he's explosive and quick. It's just having that extra power behind it.
He caught him. He connected.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah, he won. I think it was majority decision, or was it split? Or I know it was unanimous. It was unanimous. He ended up winning that one, and
National champ.
yeah, he's always doing that leg raise though.
Yeah,
Every time he gets his hands raised, leg raise too. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
Good kid, man. No, he's a super humble kid. He's always, again, in the gym all the time working, right?
Yeah, deserves it 100%.
And going on to the next one, Ethan's fight, the second fight.
Probably my favorite fight of the weekend, or one of them for sure. That kid, so this was like Ethan fighting his doppelganger, Ethan, who like, they were both the same, and it was like, that was a stressful fight.
He threw more leg kicks than that one, I'll say.
Yeah.
I think it was just more the fights went. He started throwing more leg kicks.
Oh yeah, like that. Great fight against a very tough, very game opponent, and the guy was there. Like the opponent wasn't happy at the end.
Neither was he, but
no, there was a bit of a little squabble at the end. You know.
That's what happens when you start. You played hockey your whole life. Sometimes that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah, I was stressed out. I thought after the bell, I thought it was going to keep going.
Yeah.
I was
Round 4, here we go.
I was yelling them. They just happened the way the clinching and everything fell. They fell on top of each other at the end of the round, and
Get off me.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Get away. It's over.
We grab Ethan.
It's over. That's it.
Oh man, yeah.
Just keep your mouth shut.
What a crazy fight though. And that I don't remember the gentleman's name, but that he fought, but he was a tough kid too.
Yeah.
Tough kid.
I'm not sure what gym that was from because they were French. I know.
Yeah, they were
Français.
I'm not sure. They were wearing, I don't know if they were probably affiliates of some kind with TriStar. They had TriStar shirts on, but that doesn't mean they were there.
Okay. Yeah.
Could be an affiliate of, but either way, like, doesn't matter what gym they were from. The kid was tough. But Ethan got that. That was another unanimous decision.
Yeah, that put that one there after. So that was a semifinals.
Yeah.
And that put him into the finals. So that was
Ethan's favorite fight too. Because of course, the nastier and crazier it gets, the more he likes it, right?
Yeah. He thrives off of it, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Who do we have after that? By the way, that was, again, I think my favorite fight of the weekend too. Oh, so then we move on next day. I think it might have been next day or same day. Give me a second. Same day. Mauricio's second match.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
I don't know. He didn't look the same way as he did in his first match.
No, it was almost like I wonder if the pressure got to him a little bit.
I think it was just like, okay, I won the first one, I got this, and then I don't know if you're just seeing that guy walk around with his belt all the time and seeing him. He's like,
well, the kid he fought. Like, let's not take away from that kid. That kid, I think, was he from Newfoundland?
I think he is. Yes, because I saw him on Instagram.
But that kid was good. He was tough, and he was there to compete. Now, Mauricio is a very tough, and he's pretty skilled too, for that age group for sure. I just think that other kid was equally skilled, equally tough, and Mauricio had a
Kid's name was Caden Stock.
Yeah, that kid was tough. Shout out to Caden, man. But I mean, like, I think that Mauricio had a bit of a tough time dealing with the pressure of the boxing this kid had.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it too. Again, going from Mauricio, again, he plays that close range stuff, and he, don't get me wrong. Problem is, it just takes everything off the guard, or in this case here, ate every punch, but still walked forward, right? So it's like sometimes that toughness doesn't go your way.
Yeah, no, the toughness was a detriment on that one, but still a good fight, good learning experience. What I liked about it is that it gave us something to really focus in on him for back at home training.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm telling him now. I'm like, we got a lot of parrying stuff to do.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
Staying a little longer.
When I came back from holidays and I saw him, I was like, hey brother, I was going, everything's good, and I'm like, hey, no more blocking punches with your noggin there. And he's like, no, I'm doing a lot of parrying now. So.
Got your back, brother. No, because you and I talked about it. We're like, it's probably the biggest thing we got to work on. It's just for him in that case, especially if I put him with Dom, it'd be just good training for both of them. Dom can work his footwork, and then he can work his parrying, and it's going to come together. I mean, again, kid's 17, so much to learn. Then right after that, we had Owen winning that bout for his kick light match.
Yeah.
So that was his finals for the kick light. Or how many? Yeah.
Who did he fight again? Trying to see that picture.
I don't remember who. Let me see. Oh, I think it might have been a Golden Tiger guy.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Yeah. So Golden Tiger, those guys.
Yeah, they've been around. They
yeah.
compete quite a bit.
Yeah, and shout out to them because like every event that I usually go to, I see the Golden Tiger guys there. So
yeah, they're definitely super active.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And yeah, Owen took that one, and don't get me wrong, I think that one was a little harder than his first kick light match because
for sure
couldn't just push the guy out of bounds. This guy was actually pushing, so it looked more of a, how do I say?
Competitive matchup.
Yeah, competitive matchup, and it was a little more faster paced in that case. So that one there, just like ooh, but
and that's what I like about those kick lights. Like these guys get the experience against some game opponents without damage type thing.
Yeah. Well, and again, at that age, there's no reason to be taking that much damage. Like, don't get me wrong, it happens, but if we can prevent it,
oh yeah, 100%.
Development, man, develop those kids. Who do we have after Owen? Because Owen won the belt off that one. Then we had Dom's last kick light, his kick light match, and unfortunately,
he fought Brody from back.
Yeah.
And that kid's like, he's another provincial, another national
shout
champ.
out to Maz for that one,
Yeah.
because I could hear him in the corner. Combo 1, combo 2, and he's...
Yeah, you could tell this kid had some experience.
Oh, yeah.
Brody.
And it's, and
that's who Owen's fighting, by the way, at Northern Fights.
Oh.
Yeah, so it'll be a tough fight.
So who do we else have? Oh, and then Emily's light kick match. She won the belt as well.
Yeah.
After fighting twice, going in for that third fight.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and it's hard because, like, I know she's a big fan of the K1 style right now, so... and this is where like sometimes we push our athletes to do things that drive them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And also develop other skill sets to make them better in their main fighting component, right? So, pretty proud of that match too. The in the first round, the girl was challenging in the terms where she was just like had that pressure forward, and because we worked our footwork so much, Emily was good at the footwork, but she was going out of bounds. So we had to kind of like say we had to do a fast pivot and be like, Cam, we need you to push forward, which she did, and then ended up getting the win. So
well, and that's just it, coming from someone who's been drilling constantly in the gym, pivoting, moving out of the way. It was kind of like, what? You want me to push forward?
yeah. So, I mean, like she listened and came home with another belt.
Who else do we have after that?
I think we had
Addie.
Yeah, that was.
So
Addie's
that's where she
fight.
fought Wolfgang's.
Yeah, and they
athlete.
fought before, if I'm not mistaken, like last year I think it was.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. That was a rematch.
Yeah. So, Addie's tough, man. She's a double champ, 2 years running for a reason. So
whatever works for her, man. When I see her doing the strut, not even with the strut, I call it the power walk. It's more or less the power walk in the back. I'm like, all right.
She's getting in the zone.
Stay still.
Yeah, she's getting in the zone. She's getting in the zone.
She goes in, you know what, and she's, from what I've seen her when she was just a kid to what she is now, it's great what you've done with her, because she needed that kind of that little step up where it was just, comfortable sparring in the gym, just the anxiety of competing, then you just kind of putting her out there, but also making her grow. You're not just putting her in there with killers, you know what I mean? Someone like when she was so young, there's no need for that. You kind of,
No, we held back. Like there was years where she wanted to compete, and I was like, no, we're not putting you in there to go against adults and stuff like that yet. So.
And again, I'll give her credit. She wanted to.
Oh, she did.
She wanted to.
Yeah, it was a hard no. And now, she's in Turkey today.
Why don't you do that to me when I was a kid? Yeah. No.
Now she's in Turkey right now. Like competing.
That's right. Yeah, she's training with Maz for the couple days, and then she's taking off for Turkey. So good for her.
Shout out to Addie. Good luck in Turkey, guys.
Let's get it.
And then we got Ethan the next day.
I think it was Ethan the next day, because after Addie, Ethan.
The final.
You know what? I thought this guy would have been more footwork-like when he fought Ethan, because from what I was seeing, he was moving very well.
Yeah.
But they both came at each other with fury.
Yeah, I was surprised. It was like the guy tried to take it to him as well.
Yeah. Maybe he just knew there's like, the belt's on the line, let's go. I got one fight to go, let's take it.
Yeah, and these guys, they went after it too.
Oh my God. The only thing I could say is just the clinch, right? We had to just get around the clinch.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous because, the knees. Like Ethan took some knees there, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, those side knees there.
So we had to kind of like make a quick game change on that, but.
Well, and that's just it. And Ethan does listen very well when you actually, because don't get me wrong, you get him back into the corner, sometimes he's just revved up, he's just like, yeah. But then when you tell him, it's like, hey, just fake a little more, or, show something, and then you see that kick. Fake the kick and then fire with your hands. Don't just throw in bombs. It's entertaining, don't get me wrong, but then again, it's one of those fights. After the fight, you got people coming up to him. They're just, man, that was crazy. And so you had 3 of those fights this week, that weekend, where just people coming up to him. Yo, man, you want to compete on our card? Or
I was like, let's just chill out here. Let's just go home and
you gotta sleep it off a little bit there, rest your body.
Yeah.
He started coming back to the gym. He's training now, so it's good to see. Because again, he's got a big main event coming out with Dean soon. So
it's gonna be a tough fight too. Yeah,
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
And so after Ethan's fight, that brought him the championship. So he won the belt on that one. That was the finals.
And then of course Addie to finish off the weekend.
And this
fight was a good one. This fight I was excited because she was fighting. What's this girl? I don't even know her name. Taylor.
Taylor Kelly? Yeah, I think it's Taylor Kelly from Ottawa Fight and Fitness.
Yeah, so this girl's like, she was undefeated in Muay Thai. She also had about 7 or 8 fights or something like that, and she was some kind of champion. What was she?
WBA or B? Yeah.
Hardcore Muay Thai girl and champion type thing. And taking on, a hardcore K1 champ type thing.
So it's seeing the styles clash, right? So again, mind you, it's a kickboxing event, right? So it's like seeing the way Addie pressured her in a sense where
the first round, I know Taylor posted whatever on her social media.
The
15 seconds.
The last seconds where she was tired.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, those are good knees. Like Addie, Addie's got
first round.
Addie's got a good chin. The last 15 seconds could show Addie's got a good chin. But the first 15.
First 15 seconds shows Taylor has a good chin as well.
And you know what? That's the thing. It's
first round.
You never really do that. You just post clips. It's the same thing with like posting sparring clips. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's no really a need for that. Same thing when it comes to a fight. Obviously you're going to post your best moments of the fight, right?
Yeah.
And it's a common thing. You want people to be on your side and you want that support, and sometimes what makes you feel better. But at the end of the day, when you see the whole fight for what it is.
Oh, anybody would have been like, Addie won that fight very clearly.
Well, clearly it was unanimous, right? So like, I don't know what to, like, in that case, and I respect the Ottawa guys. I do respect the Ottawa guys. I just feel when it comes to posting and being a little sour about that kind of stuff, guys, there's more to come, right? There's a lot more to come. Put yourself out there. Just keep fighting.
Yeah, but either way, like I said, it was a great fight for Addie. She fought a very tough opponent.
Tall, lanky.
She was tall. She was in shape.
Yep.
She had a good right kick. She was pretty kind of right.
We were worried about that in the first fight there. It's like we're just like, okay, she's got a good right kick. Let's get around that.
She's got some some skills, but Addie easily adapted and came out with a unanimous victory on that too. So really good weekend. Super pumped about it. It's gonna be hard to top that next year.
Oh my God.
We're gonna have to work hard.
So from last year we went from 2 athletes, me and Addie going, and then this year we got 10 athletes. I'm like, holy jeez.
I tell people all the time, because sometimes you'll hear gyms that are like, we have the best team, and I'm like, yeah, it's true. Maybe this year is a good team. Like
good year for you.
But sometimes it's like there's rebuilding years, and sometimes you gotta not dismiss a gym or whatever because they didn't have anybody compete. Sometimes like they might be taking 1 or 2 years or 3 years to build up their athletes. It's like hockey teams. Yeah. Sometimes they win the cup 3-4 years in a row, and then it's like they got to rebuild for a few years. I just feel like right now we have a pretty solid kickboxing team that they're kind of like they're a team to contend with when it comes to competitions.
And I'll be completely honest with you. After the pandemic and we had a lot of people come and go and whatnot, I was a little worried.
Depressing.
Yeah, I was a little worried because I'm like, okay, who's gonna stay and who's gonna
nobody wanted to hit bags at first and stuff like that.
Well, in my head, I'm like, I'm only getting older. I can't carry the weight here. I'm like, don't put it on me.
Yeah.
But it's just like we got all the team just grew all of a sudden. I can't even explain when it happened. It just so happened.
Yeah.
And now we got so many people, and they want to.
They
want to compete.
And that's not even counting. We got like a dozen kids coming up that haven't even hit the radar yet.
Yeah, and that's
we know they're there. They're
exactly. Coming. Addie's bringing those kids up, and I see it when I'm warming up. I can see you can see the kids that are still in the development stages, and you see the kids that are like taking it more seriously. Aubrey, for instance, Elaine's daughter. There's certain kids that in the gym they kind of stand out a little bit because they're really.
We got kids doing privates in the background right now.
Yeah, there you go. See, it's
maybe not even classes scan over there somewhere out there. Anyway, right on. It was awesome talking to you. Thank you so much, man, for coming in and chatting with us. I hope everybody enjoyed listening to our take on the Nationals weekend.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys will tune in for the next podcast, In the Ring.
Yeah. If you follow me on TikTok, I do have the Nationals video the whole weekend, so you can see some clips, you can see some photos. So
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
Hey, right on, brother.
Take it easy.